The 3DS capture market the past couple years hasn't been great, I'll tell you that. Just this summer, I finally decided to go out and get one installed by a guy off of eBay. The card he installed was made by Optimize, which isn't exactly bad or anything, but his installation skills sure are. And only after a month of use it broke on me. So then I had to go ship it out to Delfino Customs in the UK to fix it. They're awesome though, and they are worth checking out though. But I only got it back a few weeks ago. And that's why I haven't been covering many 3DS games on this channel these past couple months. But one thing I and many other people have been looking forward to is the return of Loopy, the king of making 3DS capture boards. His boards have always been almost universally agreed upon as being far superior to Kitty's or Optimize's. The only problem was that Loopy's been gone for quite a while. We've all had to wait patiently for his return. Earlier this year, he made a post on his website announcing a new product, a capture board for the new 3DS XL. Previously, the only model of the 3DS he made capture boards for was the original 3DS, which as good as it is, it can't really do as much as newer models, so I was excited for this, just like everyone else. Around a month or so ago, he finally announced that he had a test run ready, and a limited number of boards to install on people's 3DSs. And it'd be up on an order page which would open up at 7 PM the next day. The whole evening, I was sitting on the order page waiting for the second it opened. Never before had I been so quick to buy anything, which was probably a good thing though, because it sold out in just a few minutes. Actually, it might have been the first minute. I know like after like 2 or 3 minutes they're completely gone, but anyway, I shipped my 3DS to get modded, and I just got it back a few days ago. And since I'm one of the lucky few who got to partake in the test run, it's my duty to share with all of you what it's like, the good things, the bad things, and if it's worth getting. So the first thing that this new board has over the others is using USB-C instead of micro or mini USB. It feels so much better to plug and unplug, the ports don't wear out as fast, and it's a lot easier to find cables for. Now, one thing I was kind of hoping for is to charge over USB-C like Loopy's DS capture boards, but it can't, which is understandable because how much more data is going through the cable, but it would have been nice. To get the software and drivers for now, you have to search around the forums, and there's a lot of helpful troubleshooting advice if you can't get it to work. The software itself is decent. You can use it to record at a variety of different options for quality and frames per second. You can change the size of the windows to change how big you want each DS screen to be in the final recording, and have a number of different screen filter options. Best of all though is how you don't have to type in a product key for it to work. This is my least favorite thing about my old capture card. I just don't understand why it needs to be a thing. Personally though, I only use the software for viewing the screens, and I use OBS to record for a few reasons. First, it only records in AVIs, and I prefer MP4s. Second, I think it's a bit easier to change window sizes in OBS. And third, my computer really hates to run the software at 60 FPS, but it runs just fine at 60 FPS in OBS. I don't know why, but it does. Speaking of that, compared to my optimized card, there's way less dips in FPS while using OBS. Sure, they happen occasionally, mostly at the start of recording, but after that, it's smooth like butter until the end. The video quality is excellent though. Like wow, it's a huge improvement over the quality of an optimized board. It's way less blurry, less pixelated, and overall closer to what you'd see while looking at an actual 3DS screen. I'll even show you a comparison real fast to see for yourself. When it comes to sound quality, you also have a variety of options. First, you can send sound over the USB cable. I wouldn't really recommend this since a lot of the time the audio is full of clips. And the better way though to get good audio is to plug a 5.5mm the male cable into the headphone jack, then plug that into your computer, although you might need a ground loop isolator too. And one of the few things I don't like about this product is how the game audio plays through the computer speakers when the device is plugged in. There is a workaround this if you go to your computer settings, which is pretty easy honestly. But I mean, I have to complain about at least one thing about it. So there's my one complaint. I have to have one because without one, never mind. Okay, but next let's talk about DS games. And they work good too. Not as good as a dedicated DS capture unit. The pixels are a little less sharp and the aspect ratio of the 3DS is larger than the original DS, so it looks stretched out. Or if you want to play in pixel perfect mode, there's a lot of black space that needs to be cropped out. Other than the slight sound issues, I only ran into one other problem with the product. That being occasional flashy glitches, mostly from going back to the main menu after playing DS games. Thankfully, this seems to be a software issue instead of a hardware one, which will probably be fixed here soon. And even if this is a sign that something's not started on right, like with my old 3DS, Loopy is very good at responding to emails and fixing defective products, so I have no worries here. The only thing left to talk about is pricing. Loopy has said on his website these boards will probably cost the same amount as the old ones, which is around $170. That is so much cheaper than any of its competition of other 3DS capture installation services that provide their own boards. Compared to $300 on the Customs, which I mean they're awesome, but yeah, and $350 on Ruby Otaku. Which I understand both those since you have to buy the boards from Optimize, and since Loopy makes his own boards, he doesn't have to, you know, it's cheaper for him to do that. But I've also heard from people on the forum that these boards are going to be a lot easier to install than Optimize. And since Loopy says he plans on selling the board separately, which would be, I think, a little over $100, there's another possible selling point taken away. So, is there anything an Optimized board has over a Loopy? Well, to be honest, not really. I will say that there are a few more bells and whistles with their software, yet most of these don't have much purpose and everyone ends up using the same settings anyway. I mean, I guess it's a little easier to turn off the sound output to the desktop in the software, so I mean, that's one thing that's slightly better about it, I guess. The only main benefit Optimize has right now over Loopy is availability, and even that might be taken away from it eventually. Realistically though, the demand is so high right now that it'll probably always be easier to get a hold of an optimized board though. So in conclusion, I would 100% say that Loopy's new 3DS XL capture card is worth it if you're looking for a 3DS capture card and you don't have one already. The video quality is fantastic, the software is decent, and a few problems it does have can be solved if you use another window capture software like OBS. The price isn't too bad, the customer service is dependable with forum to get help with hardware issues. It uses USB-C, and is a simple installation from what I've heard. For a test run, this console sure works great, and I think it was a great idea to have one to see what problems pop up before it gets a wider release. In my opinion, other than the visual glitches and some tweaks in the software, I honestly think it works perfect right now. So yeah, maybe in the future though it'd be kind of cool if you could charge over USB-C cable kind of like with DS boards, but that's not exactly feasible from what I've heard, so yeah. So yeah, if you don't have a 3DS capture card, I definitely say this is the best way to go when they come out. If you already have a Castu Kitty / optimized capture card, I'd say it just depends how much money you're willing to spend to determine if it's worth it to buy it or not. It's definitely an improvement, I'll say that, in almost every way. But your old optimized board will still probably work good enough to make really good videos. If you don't have a lot of extra money right now, I'd say hold off. But if money isn't much of a concern, it's a good investment. If you have any questions, I'd recommend visiting their website, because when it comes to technical stuff, I'm not an expert. If you ask me, I'll at least try to help. Anyway, I'm out of here, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their year.